When I work with coaching clients, one of the first things that I do is try to see how I can get them some quick wins. And today I want to talk to you about 7 ways to kickstart your fat loss journey. These are 7 of some of the things that I go over with clients in the very, very beginning on an onboarding call that they absolutely have to implement if they want to see some really, really quick wins and some quick results. So let's get right into the 7 ways to kickstart your fat loss journey. If you don't know who I am, my name's Eddie. I lost over 125 pounds and I've kept that weight off for almost 23 years now. And I work with entrepreneurs, executives, busy moms and dads, busy professionals to help them lose 20 to 25 pounds in 90 days. All the links are in the description. There's a course and then there's premium coaching that's also available. Let's get into number 1 of 7 ways that you can kickstart your fat loss journey. So number 1 is buy a smart scale. Now, when I was losing weight, I don't even think that there existed any smart scales, but I'd have to think back. I'm not sure. But the reason why you want to buy a smart scale is because when you're losing weight, you're going to be tracking a few different things. You're going to be tracking your waist circumference. You're going to be tracking your scale weight, but you also want to keep in mind that there's losing fat and then there's losing muscle. And so you want to make sure that you're losing more fat than muscle. The only way that you're going to know the differentiation there is by tracking your body fat percentage. And so having a smart scale will give you a lot of different data points. Some are more accurate than others. Honestly, if you want my opinion, you don't have to go with the most expensive one. I will probably be doing a nice review on one of the more premier options out there soon. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, and you'll get that when it comes out. But I would get just kind of a middle of the range one. You can even get them as low as $20 on Amazon. The most important thing is knowing your starting point, because once you know your starting point, think about it like this. Even if it's not super accurate, the change is what you're looking at. The trend is what you're looking at. So let's say you start at 200 pounds and 20% body fat. You're looking at what's the trend. Are we going up or are we going down? And that's what you're going to pay attention to the most. I did some research so I can give you some scientific studies as to why these 7 ways are going to be able to help you with your fat loss journey. There was a Journal of Medicine internet research study back in 2016 that said that smart scale users lost 2.5% more weight in 6 months versus people that didn't use a smart scale. So there you go. Just, science helping you. 2.5% is not a huge difference, but at least it's a difference, right? You're winning, and it's probably 20, 30 bucks that you're going to spend on a smart scale. So get yourself a smart scale so that you can track your weight and you can track your body fat percentage. All the other stuff are just added pluses, but weight and body fat percentage are the 2 main things you want to make sure that you track. Along those lines, that leads us to our second way to kickstart your fat loss journey, which is to weigh yourself daily. Now, there is a caveat here. If you've had food disorders or you've had body dysmorphia, or you're psychologically, you don't really like the idea of weighing yourself every day because you've had some past issues with that, then I recommend weighing yourself maybe 3 or 4 times, maybe not as often throughout the week. But if you're not weighing yourself because you just don't want to see what the number is and you're scared of it, then I would say weigh yourself every day. What I want you to do is weigh yourself every day and then take the average every week. So let's say you start weighing yourself on a Monday, you go all the way until next Monday, that following Monday, a week later, you're going to take all of those different measurements, all 7 measurements, and you're going to average it out and see what that weight is. Every single week, you're going to see what that average is trending, whether it's trending up or down. That's going to show you whether you're making progress or not. But you have to weigh yourself daily in order to have a better, more accurate average. So if you have a 7-day average, that's better than a 5-day average, which is better than a 3-day average. If you absolutely cannot weigh yourself every day, then you want to weigh your options, right? I can weigh myself 3 or 4 times a day or 3 or 4 times a week. Okay, do that instead. I can weigh myself 3 times a week. Okay, that's better than once a week, right? But 7 times a week is better than, once a week. So the more you weigh yourself, if you can weigh yourself every day, that's the gold standard, and then take the average every single week. There was a study in obesity in 2014 that said that daily weighing equals 1 to 2% greater loss over 12 months. So just, consistent feedback is going to drive progress. Now, I do want to mention that when you do weigh yourself every day, you have to be prepared for the scale weight to go up and down dramatically every single day. So I'm talking about, depending on how much you weigh, it can go up as much as 4 or 5 pounds in a day, and it can go down the same amount. It can go up and down, up and down. That's just because you're carrying different amount of water. Depending on how much salt you have, depending on how many carbs you have, you might be drawing in more water. Don't worry about that. Water is good. What you want to do is you want to worry about that average after the week and whether it's going up or down and trending up or down. Let's get into the third reason. Hey guys, really quick, now that I have you here, really exciting news. I finally released my fat loss course. This is something that I've been working on for a very long time in terms of the actual course and the content, but also in terms of what's in the course and in terms of, I like to call it a system. This has been more than 20 years of experience, of trial and error, ups and downs. I lost over 125 pounds and I've kept that off for over 20 years now. So this fat loss course is unlike any other on the market. It attacks fat loss from nutrition, from fitness, but also from a mindset and a mental model perspective, as well as setting you up for the long term, for sustaining fat loss, because a lot of people lose weight, but then they gain it back. So the link is in the description. Let's get back to the show. The third thing I want you to do to kickstart your fat loss journey is to track everything that you eat and drink. Now, I know a lot of you right now are clicking off or thinking, oh, I don't want to track food. I don't want to track this. I don't want to track that. That's annoying. I've never done that before. I don't know how to track. First of all, you don't have to be perfect. Tracking anything is better than tracking nothing. So you will get better, promise. You will get better little by little. I can promise you that you will get better little by little the more you do it. But if you never start doing it, then you won't get better at all. And if you never start doing it, then you're blind. And this is why so many people think that losing weight is this big mystery, is because they don't want to track. When you are saving money, you track your finances, you create a budget and you save money, and you know what money is going in and out based on what you're spending and what your expenses are and how much money you're making. You know exactly where all of those dollars are going. Same with nutrition. I want you to think about it the same way. You have a caloric budget every day and you want to make sure that you're tracking everything that you eat and drink. That means anything that's liquid, that's sodas, if it's got calories, it counts. If you're having dressings, if you're having sauces, if you're having condiments, ketchup, things like that, everything counts. Now, again, you're not going to be perfect at first. I recommend using my Fitness Pal. My favorite is Carbon Diet Coach, which is an app by Lane Norton. And I think that that's a fantastic one. It is $10 a month, but so are some of the other ones if you want to use the more premier features. But I use that one every day. I'm so used to it already that it's easy for me to track food. I also eat a lot of the same meals, so it's easy for me to track day in and day out because a lot of times I'm just repeating the same meals, so I already know what they are. That's an easy little side trick if you want to just make it easier, is just eat a lot of the same stuff. Eat the similar lunches, similar dinners, similar breakfasts, you know? But if you don't track, then you don't improve. So what gets tracked and what gets measured gets improved. There was a study back in 2008 from the American Journal of Preventive Medicine that said that food logging doubled weight loss, okay? 10% versus 5%. The people that were logging lost 10% of the weight. People that weren't logging lost 5%. So, you know, in 6 months, that's basically just the awareness of how much you're eating is going to help you to have better results. So think about that. Whenever you think, oh, I'm lazy, I don't want to do that, it sounds like a pain in the butt. It's going to be a pain in the butt like anything else you do for the first time, but it's going to get easier the more you do it. And again, you're not striving to be perfect. You're striving to just have more awareness around what you're eating. You can do different things like hand gestures, where a cup of your hand is a serving of carbs, a palm of your hand is a serving of protein. You know, your thumb is a serving of fat, you know, like olive oil or something. I don't recommend that if you can track on an app, because that's not going to be as accurate. But if that's the only way that you can do it and that's going to provide more awareness than you have right now, then go for it. Do that. It's going to be better than what you've got going on right now. Any improvement in awareness and tracking of what you eat is going to help you to lose more weight. And for people who want to join a program, for people who join my program, if they say, look, like I want to lose 20 pounds, but I don't want to track food, we can still do it, but it's not going to be as easy and it's not going to be as clear cut as if you're tracking and you know exactly, you know, what the accountability is of what's coming in and out and how much you're exercising and so forth. So there's a science to this. It's not just an art. There's a science to this also. And the more you know about your numbers, the more success you're going to have. Let's get into the fourth one. The fourth one is very simple. It's walk. Walk daily. Now, specifically, I tell my clients, try to aim for at least 7,500 steps a day. 7,500 steps. It's a really good place to start. Most average Americans are walking about 3,000 steps or less every day because they're sitting at a computer. They're very sedentary during work. They're driving to work and you know, back home. So they're not really walking a lot. Simply by walking 7,500 steps every single day, you will absolutely improve your chances of losing weight and you will kickstart that journey. I also want to mention that that's one of the ways that I started my fat loss journey. You're going to see there's a video that I talk about that, where I talk about how this one thing sparked my 127-pound weight loss journey, and it was walking. That's how I started. I started off by walking. That led to a bunch of other stuff. I'll link that video up top so that you can click it if you want. But that led to, oh, what else can I do? Can I eat healthy? Can I start lifting weights? Can I start doing all this other stuff? But it started with walking, because that's the only thing I knew how to do. I knew how to walk. I didn't know how to lift weights. I didn't know what equipment I needed. Like, the easiest thing you can do, most people can walk. You don't even have to run. Most people can walk. So start there. Aim for 7,500 steps every day. And that's a really good starting point. If you're hitting 7,500 steps every day, you're going to be in good shape, and you're going to start to really kickstart that fat loss journey. Let's get into number 5. Number 5 is another easy one that you should already be doing, but most people don't. And this is drink enough water every day. One of the ways that you want to lose weight is to keep yourself feeling full. And so we're going to talk about a couple things that help you keep full. So some of them are movement based, right? So things like walking are movement based, but then things like drinking water are ways to keep you full so that you don't overeat. And so drink half of your weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, I want you to have 100 ounces of water minimum every day. If you're out doing sweaty work or you're doing sweaty workouts and stuff like that, then you want to drink a little bit extra. But just aiming for enough water, half of your body weight in ounces, is really going to make sure that you're not eating for the wrong reasons. A lot of times people think that they're hungry and they go for a snack and then they eat something. And the reality is they're not really hungry, they're just thirsty. And so one of the tricks that I tell my clients to do is, if you feel like you're reaching for a snack, have a big glass of water and then wait 10 minutes or so. And if in 10 or 15 minutes you're still hungry, then go ahead and reach for the snack. If you follow this channel, you've probably heard me say that before in other videos. But drink enough water. There was a research study back in 2016. They basically had people drink 500 milliliters of water before they ate a meal. And the people that actually drank the water, they ended up getting 5 to 10 pounds of loss in 3 months, because their food intake was cut by like 13%. So about 200 calories less that they ate just by drinking water. So you're keeping yourself a little more full. You're almost kind of tricking yourself into eating less. And look, when you're losing weight, you need to eat a little less, you need to move a little more. There's just really little strategies and little tweaks that we can do to make sure that you're kind of tricking yourself so you don't feel them as much. And so you don't feel the differences. You don't feel like you're doing all of these different changes, but in the background, all of these things are happening, and you're making improvements, and you're all of a sudden you're not that hungry because you drank a little water, and then you're seeing some more results and you're seeing some more weight loss. Let's get into number 6. Number 6 is also along the nutrition side, which is eat enough fiber. I recommend roughly 30 grams of fiber should be good enough for most people. It's typically around 15 grams of fiber for every 1,000 calories you eat. So if you eat a regular 2,000 calorie diet, then you should have 30 grams of fiber. If you're a little bit bigger, then you can kind of do your own calculation. For every 1,000 calories you eat, calculate about 15 grams of fiber. There was a study back in 2015, and it was people that ate 30 grams of fiber per day reduced their intake by 10%. So about 200 to 300 calories less that they ate every day. And that ended up, helping them lose weight. They felt fuller. Again, just like the water thing, fiber is going to help you feel full, and it's going to help you eat less. And that's what we need for weight loss. So it's an easy trick. Things like oats, things like broccoli, things like beans. Careful with the beans because they're high in carbohydrates, but they do have a good amount of fiber in them. Fruits and vegetables are great because they have a lot of fiber and they also don't carry a lot of calories. If you're going to eat fruits, things like apples, things like blueberries, even dark chocolate, which is higher in calories, so you got to be careful, but dark chocolate has a good amount of fiber in it. And if you are going to eat bread, make sure that you're getting like more of an unprocessed bread that has more natural fiber in there. Because I like sourdough and things like that, and fiber bread and so forth, but I make sure that it has enough fiber where it's keeping me full. It's not just ultra processed bread that I'm just going to eat and then I'm going to continue to be hungry and hungry and hungry. So make sure that you eat enough fiber. 15 grams for every 1,000 calories of your diet that you eat. Number 7, and the last one, always stay one meal ahead. Plan one meal ahead. This is magic. This is one of the biggest things that my clients can do and that I do myself to make sure that I stay within my calorie budget that I mentioned earlier, is to plan one meal ahead. And the reason why that's so important is because I love Italian food. I love going out to dinner with my wife, having some pasta, having a glass of wine, having some dessert. If you watch this channel, you've heard me say that before. But if I know that I'm going to go out for pasta, if I know that I'm going to go out and have an Italian dinner, then I'm going to make sure that I have a little bit of a lighter carb lunch or a lighter carb breakfast, because I don't want to feel guilty when it comes to dinner time and I'm watching every calorie and thinking, oh, I shouldn't eat pasta and I'm going to feel guilty because I had a big lunch. Like, no, I know I'm going to have a nice big Italian dinner. So I'm going to have a little bit less during lunch or during breakfast so that I make sure that I spread out my calories so that I'm happy, so that I'm fulfilled and satisfied. And so the only way to do that is to think one meal ahead. If I'm not even thinking about dinner and I don't remember that I have an Italian dinner planned, then I'm not going to be cognizant of how much I'm eating for breakfast or lunch. And then by the time I get to dinner, maybe I'm lower in terms of how much room I have in my calorie budget, and I'm going to maybe overeat. And that's what a lot of people fall into. Also, if you're going to be drinking alcohol, like I like to drink a little bit of red wine here and there with wine or with dinner, then make sure that you're calculating that into that. That counts too. Calories come from alcohol just like they come from food and drinks and other stuff. So make sure that you're taking into consideration all of that stuff. If you have client dinners, a lot of the people that I work with are executives, entrepreneurs. They have a lot of entertainment that they do with clients and potential clients. They have a lot of steak dinners and places that they need to go to where people are going to order a bunch of appetizers. They need to think ahead to that. They need to make sure that they're aware of where they're going and what's the possibility that they're going to order a bunch of stuff that maybe is higher in calorie. So guess what? Have a lighter lunch, have a lighter breakfast so that you can enjoy. Make sure that you don't feel so restricted when you're at dinner, whether you're with clients or whether you're with your family or your significant other, whoever you're with. But follow those 7 steps, and I promise you that weight loss will be a lot easier. It'll help you kind of kickstart and jumpstart your weight loss journey. Again, let's go over them really quick. Number 1, you're going to buy a smart scale so that you can track not only your weight, but your body fat percentage as well. You want to make sure that you're tracking both. Number 2, you're going to start tracking your weight daily. Now, track it daily if you can, and then take the average every 7 days to see how that average is moving up or down. If it's moving down, you're doing good. If it's moving up, you're either moving too little or eating too much. That's just science. It's not my fault. It just is what it is. Number 3, you need to track everything that you eat and drink. So once you're weighing yourself, remember, your weight's going to go up and down every day, but the average for the week should go down and in the right direction. Sometimes it might go down a little bit. Sometimes it might go down a lot. That's normal. That's completely normal. But if you're tracking what you eat and drink every single day, then you don't have to worry about the guessing game. It's not a mystery of how to lose weight. All of a sudden it becomes more of a science because you're looking at the numbers. And you know that if your weight didn't go down that much, it's not because of what you ate or didn't eat. It's just because the body is weird like that sometimes. If you track everything that you eat and drink, you have nothing to worry about. Your weight will eventually go down if you're at that calorie deficit. Number 4, what we're going to do is we're going to walk 7,500 steps daily. So just walking. It's the easiest thing that people can do to get started. They're not going to get injured. No matter how overweight you are, most people can walk 7,500 steps every day. You don't have to do it all at once. You can split it up between 30 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. However it is that you can split it up, go ahead and split it up, but get your 7,500 steps every day. You can do an Apple Watch like this, or you can do an Oura Ring. I have an Oura Ring. You can do a Whoop Band. You can just get a simple cheap pedometer from Amazon. Whatever it is that's easiest for you to track your steps, make sure you're tracking your steps so that you get that 7,500 every single day. Number 5, drink enough water. Take your weight, divide it by 2. So if you weigh 200 pounds, divide that by 2. That's 100 ounces of water that you need to drink every day. Half of your body weight in ounces of water every day. If you're out sweating, if you're doing a high intensity training and you're sweating a lot for any reason, drink a little bit more. Okay, but drink enough water. Water is going to help keep you full, which leads us to our next tip, which is eat enough fiber. 30 grams of fiber daily. If you weigh a little more, then you want to go a little higher than that. The average typically, or the recommendation is 15 grams of fiber for every 1,000 calories you eat. So for an average 2,000 calorie diet, that's 30 grams. That's why I put that 30 gram number in there. You can kind of do your own math. 15 grams for every 1,000 calories of calories that you eat every day. And the last one, number 7, always be thinking ahead at least one meal. Plan ahead so that you're not caught off guard and you're not caught with, all of a sudden you're at a client dinner or you're at an Italian dinner or whatever it is that you like to eat, and you've already eaten most of your calories on your budget daily, right? You don't want to find yourself in that situation. You want to think ahead and plan ahead so that you're ready. If you thought this was helpful and if you liked this video, first of all, thank you for sticking around so long. Second of all, I would be honored if you would subscribe to the channel. It helps other people find it. And if you would like, It helps other people find it. And one of the best things for the algorithm is if you leave a comment. So leave a comment, tell me which one of these you're gonna try out, which one of these maybe you hate, but you're gonna try anyway. Maybe you hate tracking or you've never tracked food and it's scary to you, but you said, you know what, I'm gonna try this anyway. Leave a comment below. Tell me which one it is that you're gonna try, that you're gonna implement to jumpstart your fat loss journey. Let me know how much weight it is that you wanna lose. Put it in the comments below. It helps the algorithm. It helps other people find the content and find the video. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, I do have clients that I work with. If you're an entrepreneur, busy, professional, busy moms and dads, executives, you're busy, you wanna lose 20 to 25 pounds in 90 days with a proven system, the link is in the description for you to click on that. We'll book a friendly sales call just to see if it's a good fit for you. Just a very low pressure conversation just to see if it's a good fit for you or not. And if you don't necessarily want coaching, but you still want to have a proven system that you could implement, then my brand new fat loss course is available. The link is also in the description. You just go to eddieroselle.com/transform90. It's also built around the same idea of you transforming your life in 90 days. Everything that you need is in there, from the mental models and the mindset prep all the way through to nutrition, through fitness, and through sustaining your weight loss once you lose weight. So this is a system that's not only gonna help you with your immediate weight loss now, but it's gonna help you to keep it off for a lifetime. It will hopefully be the last fat loss course that you ever have to buy. That's my aim and my goal. It was just released yesterday, so it's brand new. The price is what it is, but the price is gonna go up in a few weeks. So if you're thinking about grabbing it, right now would be a good time to grab it. And leave a comment below if you are planning on grabbing it. Let me know if there's anything that I can help with. If you have any ideas for future videos, leave them in the comment as well. I'm always trying to provide good content for you guys. I'm rooting for all of you, no matter how much weight you have to lose. I'm rooting for all of you because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to feel overweight, to feel like I don't know which direction to go. I wish there was these resources when I was losing weight. I had to kind of figure it out the hard way. And so one of my missions, and my main mission really, is just to put out free information so people can know what direction to go in and have a good resource that's gonna eliminate all of the mystery and all of the noise around how to lose weight and how to do it most effectively and how to keep it off for the long term. Again, subscribe, like, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.